Roy is working out. Of the Pathways, sorry. Roy is working out of the Pathways assignment on persuading your audience with stories. Today, he'll be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of smartphones. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Roy Scherer with a speech titled, Smartphones and Stupid People.
Good morning. Good morning. The most magnificent invention of all time, or the most destructive? Yes. Think about it. The smartphone. Start with a question. In terms of dependence on this device today, if you had a choice between losing your cell phone or your spouse or significant other, how many would say spouse, significant other? I'd rather lose them. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. All right. The audience is not shown on these films, but there were 7 people that voted in favor of their losing their spouse or significant other. I won't give you the names. So, in terms of magnificence, my son and grandson are now in Europe. My grandson is a member of the USA Junior Olympic team in soccer, and they are now competing against the different teams around Europe. So I had a chance to talk with them on FaceTime yesterday from England. And then my son said, Dad, I'm going to send you a clip of Chase scoring a goal against a team in Manchester. And so this is all in front of me. Amazing, amazing. Jeff was talking about how old he is, and of course he's 20 years older than I am. But I remember growing up, our first telephone was on the wall. We had a crank, no kidding. Party line, 8 people, I think, on our party line, which meant when you picked up the phone, first you had to listen to see if anybody else was using the phone. If they weren't, you cranked it up and got an operator who plugged you in to your call. Manchester, a picture of my son, grandson, yesterday. Amazing, totally amazing, totally amazing. 3 areas of stupidity. Number 1, you've heard all about this before. Let's talk about cars first. The misuse of phones regarding cars. We're hearing this all the time, texting. Do not text while you're driving. Every day there's a case of someone being run over, killed, damaged by a driver who was texting on their cell phone. We know all about that. They say that texting is equivalent to having 2 cocktails in terms of disability, the disability of that. 2 cocktails if you're texting. And if you're looking at pornography on your phone, that's equivalent to a case of beer before getting behind your car. I'm glad you survived that, Kim. You wouldn't be here today. Common sense with cell phones. Don't you hate people that are on voice and they're barking into their phone and you're in a place where you want to be quiet? For example, they're broadcasting around the restaurant or wherever you happen to be. My wife and I celebrated our 40th anniversary. Sometime back, I decided to take her to a nice restaurant, Denny's. We were sitting at a table. The guy next to me was trying to run his business while having dinner. Oh, constantly. It's lunch, actually. Cheaper at lunchtime, by the way. barking, "Oh, close that sale, what's up, I told you to," I couldn't take it anymore. So he's about this close to me on the table. So I made my phone ring. "I told you never to call me when I'm eating. This drives me crazy listening to some idiot on his telephone while I'm trying to eat. I have more respect for my common person than that. Don't call me again while I'm at a restaurant. Thanks." My wife later said, "If you ever do that again." Not only will I never go out with you, I'll never speak to you again. Raising children. Raising children. You all know that people now use this in games and so on to raise their kids. It's not uncommon to see a mother or father or someone pushing a little infant in a stroller and the kid's playing a game there. You know, he's a year old punching away. So this has become a babysitting technique as well, instead of engaging with the children. I was in Panera's not too long ago on my 50th wedding anniversary. No, that's not it. I saw a mother. She had 2 small children. She had a board game out, and she was playing with them, talking, and so on, pushing. They were engaging. I stopped on the way out. I said, I want to congratulate you. It's so nice to see the parents interacting with their children and not on some sort of digital viral. And she seemed a little surprised. Said yes. Saw another woman, the same, who had several teenage kids at the table, her children. I looked at her, and the first thing she did was motion to the kids, "Give me your phones, give me your phones." She put them in her bag. And they had to engage in conversation at that point. Common sense, common sense, common sense. So we're a communication club. Gordy Allen, some of you may remember, is a little bit on the abrasive side. He walked into the meeting one time, and there was a visitor. I'm not saying this is a good thing to do, but our visitor that day sat down and immediately began looking at their cell phone as people were coming in. Gordy came over and said, "Hi, I'm Gordy Allen. And by the way, this is a speaking club, not a texting club." He did it in a nice way, though we never saw that guest again. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most magnificent device man or woman has ever invented. Can't we just use it wisely?